Live.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Leaders are not born, they are made. Just like a pawn in the chess can become a queen, every human being has the potential to become a leader. In view of creating responsible leaders in various fields, Disha Bharat, an NGO, since 2005 has been conducting workshops on the theme Manifest the Leader in You. Uniqueness of these workshops is that the methodology in modern and ideology in ancient Indian. These workshops intended to enrich participants with strong values and develop necessary skills to emerge as leaders who can make a positive difference to the nation. Looking at a child who was thinking deeply, father came and asked the reason. The child told that he is thinking about what he should do in the future and which has more demand. The father told, there are millions of great doctors, engineers, accountants, managers, and professionals in the world. You can become any, but there is a great dearth of good human beings. To bring values, morals, and ethics as the integral and uncompromising factor of life, Disha Bharat, an NGO since 2005, conducts value based personality development workshops as a part of orientation and induction in many universities across the state. All the programs of Disha Bharat are intended to make the youth understand the values of values and bring those values into action, which can make them grow in their personal and social life. As a part of fifth edition of My Bharat National Youth Campaign, we have had wonderful speakers to address audience and imbue patriotism in them through mindfully crafted topics. Today, it is my privilege and honor to be introducing the speaker, Captain Naveen Nagappa sir. Captain Naveen Nagappa sir was born in Hubli, Dharwad district, and he is a graduate in mechanical engineering from Bapuji Institute of Engineering and Technology, Davangere. To realize his childhood dream of serving the nation, he decided to join the Indian Army. After successful completion of his training at the Indian Military Academy, Dehradun, Captain Naveen sir joined Battalion 13, Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. He has been one of the brave heroes who fought relentlessly for our country during the Kargil War. He was awarded the Sena Medal for his gallant services of his actions in Kargil War. Since retirement from the army, he has continued to serve and give his supreme service to the motherland by sharing his inspiring account on armed forces, Kargil War, and also by instilling deep-rooted pride and passion towards the nation in lakhs of youth over the past 25 years. Sir, this year, our country celebrated 25 years of Kargil Vijay Divas, and at this milestone juncture, we are extremely privileged to have you with us and to address and inspire the youth of this country. I now request Naveen Nagappa sir to please address the audience on the topic Sacrifice and Valor, Inspiring Saga of Kargil Bravehearts.
As brought out in the introduction, I basically hail from a place called Hubli, born and brought up there. Did my PUC from PC Jabin Science College and did my mechanical engineering from Bapuji Institute of Engineering and Technology. Hope I'm audible in the rear. Okay, having done my mechanical engineering, why join the Defense Forces? The urge for me was to don the uniform. I wanted to don the uniform because I strongly believed once you get commissioned as a lieutenant, you complete your training. I completed my training in Indian Military Academy for a period of 1 year, and then on successful completion or culmination of your training, you are commissioned as a lieutenant, and in turn it means that you'll have your uniform, and to indicate the rank of a lieutenant, you have 2 stars on your shoulder. I always wanted to have that uniform and stars on my shoulders because I strongly believed 2 stars on my shoulder are better than thousands in the sky. That is precisely the reason I wanted to join. After completing my mechanical engineering, trained in Indian Military Academy for 1 year. That 1 year of training, my dear students, the lesser said the better, because the kind of rigor we go through, the kind of Am I audible? The kind of hardships, I wouldn't call it hardships, but the amount of physical exertion which goes into it for a period of 1 year, it's very strenuous. You know, there are many of times people ask me, matlab, did you ever wanted to quit at any point of a time? Yes, I wanted to quit every single day. It is so strenuous, but let me tell you, 1971 was the last war which we had fought, and I was trained in 1998. Good span of years, but we have not left our guard down. The amount and standard of training has remained the same. I have to talk about the training. I have to talk about the training part, how difficult it is, because you know, if you are what they basically teach you in Indian Military Academy is everything, right from military history, from tactics to war, the methodology. Here, everything is taught to you. Not only that, how you don the uniform, how you wear the uniform, even to the extent of how you know, your this thing belt has to be aligned with your shirt. Everything, matlab, in the if you have to tie a lace, if it's a flat lace, you shouldn't, matlab, the fold should not be visible. To that extent they train you. If you have to handle a weapon, hope I'm audible in the rear. Okay, having done my mechanical engineering, why join the defense forces? You know, the urge for me was to don the uniform. I wanted to don the uniform because I strongly believed once you get commissioned as a lieutenant, you complete your training. I completed my training in Indian Military Academy for a period of 1 year, and then on successful completion or culmination of your training, you are commissioned as a lieutenant, and in turn it means that you'll have your uniform, and to indicate the rank of a lieutenant, you have 2 stars on your shoulder. I always wanted to have that uniform and stars on my shoulders because I strongly believed 2 stars on my shoulder are better than thousands in the sky. That is precisely the reason I wanted to join. After completing my mechanical engineering, trained in Indian Military Academy for 1 year. That 1 year of training, my dear students, the lesser said the better, because the kind of rigor we go through, the kind of, you know, am I audible? The kind of hardships, I wouldn't call it hardships, but the amount of physical exertion which goes into it for a period of 1 year, it's very strenuous. You know, there are many of times people ask me, matlab, did you ever wanted to quit at any point of a time? Yes, I wanted to quit every single day. It is so strenuous, but let me tell you, 1971 was the last war which we had fought, and I was trained in 1998. Good span of years, but we have not left our guard down. The amount and standard of training has remained the same. I have to talk about the training. I have to talk about the training part, how difficult it is, because you know, if you are what they basically teach you in Indian Military Academy is everything, right from military history, from tactics to war, the methodology. Here, everything is taught to you. Not only that, how you don the uniform, how you wear the uniform, even to the extent of how you know, your this thing belt has to be aligned with your shirt. Everything, matlab, if you have to tie a lace, if it's a flat lace, you shouldn't, matlab, the fold should not be visible. To that extent they train you. If you have to handle a weapon, it might get stuck at any point of a time. When the firefight is on, it might get stuck at any point of a time. So the amount of training that they impart to us is, you know, if you blindfold me also, I'll be able to strip my AK-47, my gun, and you know, strip it apart to the last nut and bolt and then assemble it, blindfolded. That apart to do with the military part. Apart from that, they teach you how to eat, how to use a fork, how to use a spoon, how to use a knife, how to drink soup, you know, everything, how to keep your table, how to close your plate, everything is taught to you. The saying goes, you enter there as a civilian, train there as a gentleman cadet, and once you are out, you are one of the finest officers of the Indian Military Academy. First they break you. We would have gone with a set of mentality that mere se nahi hoga, nanagid agalla, 25 kilometer 26 kilometer ಓಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. And then we have gone there with a set of barriers. That is what they break. They break that barriers which you have put for yourself, and then they remake you. They make you realize what your body is capable of, what you can achieve. That is what is taught in the Indian Military Academy. That is why the conversion from a civilian to the military cadet or military officer. I completed my training in January 1999. I'll have to tell one more word about training. I told you, matlab, every day is difficult for us. We start counting our days when we are about to complete 100 days of training. When 100 days of training is balanced, we start reverse counting. ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮುಗಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ 100 ದಿನ, 99 ದಿನ, 98 ದಿನ ಅಂತ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೀತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡೆಸ್ಪರೇಟ್ಲಿ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಡೇ ವೆನ್ ದ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಓವರ್. ಬಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು, ದ ಡೇ ದ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಓವರ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಪರೇಡ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಶೋರ್ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಮಿಲಿಟರಿ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ, POP ಅಂತ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಶೋರ್ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಇಟ್. Chatwood building ಅಂತ, it's a very majestic building. All the officers who are to, matlab training cadets who are about to become officers, we conduct a drill. And once we conduct the drill, our parents would be waiting there clapping for us. You know, it's a surreal feeling, I tell you. It's a fantastic feeling. And once you complete your training, once you complete your drill, you enter the Chatwood building, and the step, on the last step, the tile is made, it says Antim Pag, the last step. And believe me, my dear students, when I say this, I would have waited desperately for the training to complete. When we are closing down to that Antim Pag, we are feeling, "Arey, bhai, training kyun khatam ho raha hai?" Because you will not be able to meet those set of officers. You will not be able to meet your course mates. That is the kind of bonding we have. We crossed that, and then I joined a unit called 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles in January 1999. January 1999, I joined a unit called 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. A word about Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. In the history of independent India, if there is any one unit which has won 2 Paramveer Chakras in a single battle, that is my unit, 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. January 1999, I joined the unit in a place called Sopur, which is around 50 kilometers away from Srinagar. So to say, we were not on the line of control. We were in the midst of Jammu and Kashmir, doing counter-insurgency operations. There are a lot of militant activities there. It was known as, Sopur was known as hotbed of militancy, hotbed of militant activities. We were there to counter those activities. We did a terrific job there. In our period, we had so much of control over that area, so much of control over that town, that literally there were hardly any incidents of, the militants firing at the defense personnel. For the next 5 months, January to 99, we were into that aspect. Whenever an officer joins a unit, he is given a buddy, he is given a helper. Buddy helper is basically the concept which has been developed in the defense forces. The reason is, when I say buddy, matlab he is like a shadow to me. Shadow in the sense, why do we require buddy is, we conduct most of the operations in the night. Be it any militant activity, you are trying to counter that. If they are laying an ambush, we have an intelligence that the militant who are likely to cross this area, we lay an ambush there. We keep waiting for them. We go there, plonk ourselves there for the entire day, and at night, without making any harkat, we keep waiting for them, for the ambush, for the militants to pass. And if they pass, obviously, we are there to neutralize them. So in that bargain, what happens is, when the firefight is on, somebody might get shot and nobody might realize somebody has got shot. So what we do is, we always operate in pairs. There would be a big team, but we always operate in pairs. So if somebody gets shot, my buddy would know that I have got shot, he can easily retrieve me. So that's why we call it as buddy system. My buddy was Sham Singh, and I used to call him Shame Shame. January I joined. What a fantastic unit 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles was. We were to make history subsequently, but the day I joined the unit, Lieutenant Colonel Y.K. Joshi was there, who rose up to the rank of a general. He became the army commander, top 8 generals in the Indian Army. He became one of them. I was fortunate to serve in that unit. Captain Vikram Batra were there, Captain Sanjeev Singh Jambal, Major Bhaskar, Thank you. All set of officers were there, and let me tell you, whatever life skills I had gained, whatever I had learned in my entire life, those 6 months of my tenure in 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles honed me to an extent where I could do whatever little bit I could achieve, because the set of officers was like that. Soldiers will be there, they will do their part, but what is needed, what is the need of hour is the leader who takes them ahead, who leads them to the battlefront. Those were the set of officers who were about to make history. Come May 1999, January to May were the time we were in Sopur, and May 99 the Kargil War commenced. And how did the Kargil War commence? You should know the background of Kargil War. Before I narrate my experiences, it's better I put things in perspective and you get to know how did the Kargil War happen? How did our enemy managed to get into our territory and occupy the hills they occupied? There's something called winter vacated post. Srinagar to Leh highway is around 400 odd kilometers. And there are a lot of hills and hillocks there. Not every feature can be occupied because, there are thousands of them. How can you occupy them? All of them. So a select few features have been identified, and identification ke liye the criteria is, if you sit on the top, you should be able to dominate the National Highway 1 Alpha, which runs from Srinagar to Leh, or you should be able to dominate the line of control. Such peaks are occupied. What happens is, you cannot occupy those posts for the entire year. 365 days it cannot be occupied because the amount of intense snow which falls there. The people staying there after the snow starts falling will get cut off. So what we do is, we vacate those posts and come back as soon as the snow starts falling. And as soon as the snow starts melting, we reoccupy those posts. As the system is being followed by the Indian Army, so was our adversary, so was our neighbor following the same methodology. And they were occupying their respective peaks, we were occupying our peaks. But in 1999, what they do is, they betray us. And instead of occupying their post, before we could occupy our post, before we could go and occupy our post, they come and occupy our post. They come and sit on our features, our hills, our hillocks, few of them which we had vacated, and few new ones which they had identified and planned earlier. It was, people ask me, was it an intelligence failure? Let's not get into that debate. Intelligence is a matter of, a success. Now, thousands of intelligence reports are gathered and acted upon, which you don't come to know. One odd failures is what becomes the news. Let's not talk about that. People come and occupy those posts. And when the Indian Army came to know about this, how did we come to know about this? You'll be surprised. There were shepherds. Bakrwal anta heltivala, Bakrwal kuri kayar anta heltivala, avru yavago mele hodaga, they realized that somebody who doesn't seem to be from our forces were seen moving around there, and immediately this was reported to the defense forces. And when we came to know about this, we wanted to gather more intelligence as to what is the extent of occupation, how many people are there on a particular post, what's the extent of occupation, what arms and ammunition they are carrying. All this intelligence had to be gathered. So what we do is, the Indian Army sends a team led by an officer called Lieutenant Saurabh Kalia and 5 of his men from a regiment called 4 Jat. The idea was to go there on the post without the enemy noticing them. They go there on the post, gather intelligence, and come down and report that matter. So the idea was very clear. Reconnaissance was the mission, not to fight the battle. You imagine people sitting on top can easily make out what's happening below. But once you have to climb the hill, it's people sitting behind the boulders, behind the sangars and bunkers. You will not be able to visualize that. So what happens is, these 6 people led by Lieutenant Saurabh Kalia start climbing the feature, and the people sitting on top observe them and let them get into a trap. They wait till they get into a trap, when I say trap, to a distance where small arms fire could be effective. Once they let in, once they are trapped, that is the time they fire from all the 3 sides, and these people are stuck. These 6 people fight till the last bullet. Till the last bullet they had. Ultimately, they expend all their ammunition and they were taken prisoner of war. There's something called Geneva Convention of Treatment of Prisoner of War. Let's not get into that. Because, we are a signatory, so is our adversary. They have also signed that, in which everything is clearly written. How you should take a prisoner of war, the country from whom the prisoner of war have been taken, how they should be informed, how they should be disarmed, how medical treatment should be given, what's the food, everything is laid down in that. But our adversary, being a rogue nation, ladies and gentlemen, what they do for the next 21 days is beyond anybody's comprehension. You just can't, it's unimaginable. 21 days later, when the bodies of these 6 soldiers was handed over back to the Indian Army, it was shock. It was shocking to everyone, because their post-mortem report said their skulls were fractured, their eyes were gouged out, their teeth were broken, tongues were cut, hot iron rods were pierced into their ears. There were cigarette burn marks all over the bodies, and even the genitals were not spared. Not a single bone was found which didn't have a fracture, which didn't have an injury mark. And can you imagine, for 21 days, just pause for a second and think, 21 hours, if you don't get food, water, you don't get to sleep, what will happen to you? 21 days, how could they have tolerated that torture? A soldier doesn't mind sacrificing his life, but he wants to die in dignity. Any soldier losing a life, it hurts, it pains. But this was a personal loss for me, because Captain Saurabh Kalia was a person who had trained together. Myself and him, we were dear friends. We were trained in the Indian Military Academy together. And this was just the beginning of the Kargil War. You would have read about Squadron Leader Ajay Ahuja, Flight Lieutenant Nachiketa. 2 aircraft which were flown by these 2 officers, Air Force officers, were shot, and Me-17 was also shot. This is how the Kargil War commenced. And you will be surprised to know what you know as Kargil War. The Indian Army had codenamed it as Operation Vijay, because we were aware, we knew that Vijay apna hoga, इसलिए हमने Operation Vijay उसका नाम रखा था. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 10 units which have got Bravest of the Brave awards. There are a lot of units who participated in that. I accept the fact that a barber, a cook, a driver, a medical assistant, a person who was trying to supply the arms, everybody's contribution was there to win the Kargil War. It is just not that the infantry soldier who fought the battle. Everybody contributed to the extent they could. But I will restrict my talk to 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles because it's a long story, I will not be able to squeeze in everything into it. So 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles launched 2 attacks. The first attack was on a feature called .5140. 0.5140 effectively means it is 5,140 meters above sea level. It's a rarefied atmosphere. We call it as rarefied atmosphere. To put things in perspective, it's around 16,000 to 17,000 feet above sea level. For you to imagine, it's difficult, so I'll narrate to you. We sitting here, the kind of oxygen we inhale, the kind of oxygen content which gets into a body when we inhale, it's less than 50% there. So if you run about 100 meters here, taking 10 steps is equivalent, because your body doesn't get sufficient amount of oxygen. You will get tired that much faster. And the gradient, they say, is around 60 degrees or so. The gradient is there. It's not like climbing the steps. We just use your lower limbs and climb the steps. It's not so. You have to use both your lower limbs as well as upper limbs to climb. The temperatures are always sub-zero. And on top of that, just imagine, we had to carry around 65 to 30 odd kgs, 25 to 30 odd kgs of arms and ammunition and climb the feature. Now you can well imagine how difficult it would have been. Fighting a battle is one battle, but reaching up to there was another battle. .5140. This attack was carried out by 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. 2 officers led the attack. One is Captain Vikram Batra and Captain Sanjeev Singh Jamwal. They started the attack on 18th June. What a fantastic attack they carried out. 48 hours, within 48 hours, whatever bunkers were there, they were demolished, the enemy were neutralized, and the tricolor was hoisted on .5140 within 48 hours. And the icing on the cake was, we didn't have a single casualty. And let me tell you a word about Captain Vikram Batra. Any ailment, any ache, any headache we have, we just rush to the doctor. We just want to get it cleared. We just want to get rid of that. But in a warlike situation, what happens is, when you are launching an attack, you are in the open, the enemy is sitting behind boulders. It's easy for them to press the trigger. It's an automatic weapon, press the trigger and take a swipe. How many people, anybody, it's not like swimming against the tide. It's it's like walking against the bullets. You are literally walking against the bullets, hoping like hell that the bullet doesn't touch you. That's the only prayer you can have. Because you take a step, the mine might explode. You run from one boulder to another boulder, somebody would have been waiting there for you. He has a clear view, he can take a shot. A shell might land, he can blow you up to pieces. In spite of all these difficulties, if a person goes there, fights incessantly for 48 hours and hoists the tricolor, and he conveys back the message that "Ye dil mange more," that has to be Captain Vikram Batra and nobody else. It was just not sloganeering for Captain Vikram Batra. I'm sure if you go on YouTube and see, today also, 25 years back, which was recorded, Barka Dutt had taken an interview of Captain Vikram Batra, and he is on record saying that, my chaps wanted that more bunkers would have been there. We wanted more territory. So it was, "Ye dil mange more" was just not a slogan. He actually meant what he said. So when we won this first battle, there was euphoria among the unit, because battle has been won, no casualties from our side. It was a festival atmosphere. Tumba khushi aagta ittu. But nanigello ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ದೇವರೇ ಇಷ್ಟು ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನನಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂತ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. And वो बोलते हैं ना कि अगर आप दिल से कुछ चाहते हो तो the entire universe will conspire that to get what you want. Subsequently there was a message, you have to attack .4875. As I told, 4875 is 4,875 meters above sea level. The D-day for the attack, the day we decided for the attack was 4th July 1999. Now imagine 4th July afternoon, I'm sitting with my men, 120 men I had to lead. Imagine, put yourself in my shoes and pause for a minute and think, at the age of 23, with just 6 months of service behind me, I joined in January 99, we are talking about June, July. July 4th was the D-day for the attack, we had to launch. With just 6 months of service, I had to lead 120 men into the battlefield. On the D-day, I had lunch with my men, and then I was trying to motivate them. I was trying to, put Josh into them, trying to tell them that we are going to create history. Such an opportunity might never come in our lifetime. So this is the time, this is the moment we have to deliver, we have to perform. I was trying to motivate them, and then my buddy, Sham Singh, was not keeping well. So I had sent across a message to him that he will not participate in the war. Let him take rest, because from past 3 days he was not keeping well. We are going to an attack, we don't know how long it's going to take. I had given a message, Shame to participate nahi karega. The moment he came to know about this, he came running towards me. And quote unquote, he came and said, "Saab, अच्छे दिन में आपके साथ था, अभी बुरा वक्त आया हुआ है, मैं आपको अकेला कैसे छोड़ दूं? अगर कुछ हो गया आपको, तो जिंदगी भर मैं अपने घर में, अपने पलटन में, अपने यूनिट में मुंह कैसे दिखाऊंगा?" I could see the kind of commitment he had. There was no possibility that I could have said no. I said, "Yes, Shamit, tu bhi chal." So, I could see him fisting his pump in the air, and then pumping his fist in the air, running towards wherever we kept our weapons, collecting the weapons. And then, Sham ho raha tha, we were all set. पंडित जी होता है, पंडित जी ने हवन कंडक्ट किया, तिलक लगाया, वेपन पे भी तिलक लगाया, and we checked our weapons, who is carrying medium machine gun, light machine gun, heavy machine gun, rocket launcher, radio set, everything was checked and rechecked. We have our unit war cry. Before performing any task, be it a small activity like playing a game or going to the battlefield, we have our war cry, and our war cry was Durge Mata Ki Jai. When I called Durge Mata Ki Jai, 120 people standing behind me calling one Durge Mata Ki Jai. What an electrifying atmosphere it was. Now, till then, probably we had this, fear of uncertainty. क्या होगा, क्या नहीं होगा, कितना दिन लगेंगे, कितना लोग वापस आएंगे, कितना लोग जिंदा वापस आएंगे, कितना लोग चल के वापस आएंगे, पेरेंट्स का क्या होगा. These are all fear of uncertainty. But once Durge Mata Ki Jai was called, there was only one thing in our mind: come what may, whatever be the consequence, the tricolor has to be hoisted on point 4875. This was the only thing in our mind. 4th July, we set out for the attack. ನೈಟ್ ಕತ್ಲಾಗ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಟ್ಯಾಕನ್ನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ಬೆಟ್ಟವನ್ನು ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ತುದಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು 4-5 ಜನ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಾಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ರಿಜ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. Ridge line is wherever you can climb. There is a possibility for you, where there is availability there you can climb. ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂಕರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಘರ್ಷಗಳನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So we have to clear one by one to reach the pinnacle. So what happens is, 4th night we launch an attack. 5th early morning I come to a state where I noticed for the first 3 bunkers, and the enemy is not aware we are launched an attack. So what I decide is, if 120 people we go and attack, दावा बोल देते हैं, तो मतलब obviously उनको पता चल जाएगा कि अटैक आया हुआ है, तो obviously they'll retaliate, they start firing, it will become difficult for us. To maintain that, to take advantage of the surprise element, what I decide is to have a small team lead an attack without enemy coming to notice. We should start to commence the attack. The idea was 3 teams to be formed to attack 3 different bunkers, 3 of my men to attack the left bunker, me along with 3 of my men to attack the middle bunker, and 3 of the right bunker. The idea was crawling. I hope you understand what's crawl ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ತವಳದಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ತವಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋದು. ಹೋದ ತಕ್ಷಣ 3 ಟೀಮ್ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ನಾನು ಟೀಮ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾನು ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, both the teams have reached. I give a signal, and then we take out our grenades, lob the hand grenades, and draw our weapons and pump in bullets as much as we can. That was the idea. 3 teams starts, 3 teams reach. I have also reached my position. I see both the teams have reached. Give a signal. Now imagine, hell broke loose anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, it is actually that. Suddenly, all of a sudden, पूरा सन्नाटा, pin drop silence है, पहाड़ के ऊपर पूरा अंधेरा है, and all of a sudden you see, grenades being lobbed, weapons fired. At that time, the enemy also realized we have launched an attack. They also started firing. You could well imagine, grenades exploding everywhere, shells landing, fire happening, the muzzle flashes happening. It was chaos. But the best part, the fortunate part was, before the enemy could react in the first 3 bunkers, we managed to capture the first 3 bunkers. It was like getting a foothold there. It was like getting a foothold We got a foothold, now we carry on with the attack. Once we do that, we have to sanitize the bunkers. We have captured 3 bunkers, we have to sanitize. Now, what do you mean by sanitize? The enemy bodies which are lying there have to be taken out. If they have kept any mines there, those have to be diffused. And weapons which were earlier pointed downwards, now we have to point upwards because the attack has to go forward. So all this was happening, it was early morning, 5th early morning was, the dawn was just on, the sunlight was just started rising. And then what I could see was left side, right side, I was trying to locate, ki have they aligned the weapons properly. What I see at that point of a time is, one of our soldier has fallen down with the face downwards. His arms have been twisted, his legs have been twisted in an awkward fashion. The moment ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ನು ಬದುಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ, ತಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅವ್ನು ಬದುಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ, ಬಟ್ ಹೃದಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದೆ ದೇವರೇ ಅವ್ನು ಬದುಕಿರಲಿ, ಹೇಗಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಅವನ್ನ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಅಂತ ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಓಡಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ಟ್ವಿಸ್ಟ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಐ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ವಾಸ್ ನೋ ಮೋರ್. ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಕೊಲಾಪ್ಸ್ಡ್. Look at the irony of the situation. Captain Naveen Nagappa was somebody else, Shyam Singh was somebody else. 6 months back, we had not seen each other's face. We had not even heard each other's name. And within a span of 6 months, he was ready to sacrifice his life for me. And mujhe bura tab laga, when I was hospitalized, I came to know he had written a chit in his pocket. In that chit, he had mentioned, "Ye zindagi bhi kya hai zindagi, dushman ko mare bina, ye zindagi bhi kya hai zindagi, maut ke bina." That is camaraderie for you. That's camaraderie for you, ladies and gentlemen. And the irony of the situation was, I as a team leader, Shyam Singh was very close to me, a dear friend of mine, but I couldn't shed a tear. Imagine I as a team leader start shedding tears, start crying. There are 100 of my men looking at me. Will they not lose the will to fight the battle? I couldn't let that happen. So I was literally biting my jacket so that to control my tears. You all would have, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಕ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಸ್ಲೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಒಯ್ದಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಲೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಒಯ್ದಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್. ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ನ ಬಾಡಿ ಬ್ಯಾಗಲ್ಲಿ, ಸ್ಲೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಜಿಪ್ ಮುಚ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಅವ್ನ ಮಕ ಯಾವಾಗ ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂತಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಐ ಫೆಲ್ಟ್ ಸೋ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್. He had an opportunity, but he refused that. He came along with me. ಈ ಥರ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದೀಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ವಾರ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಬ್ರೂಟಲ್. ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಓಪನ್ ಈಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 25%. 75% you will not be able to digest that. That's why we don't bring it out. This was 5th early morning, what I narrated. 5th entire day we fight, 5th night we fight, 6th afternoon the firefight is still on, because for us every inch of the territory is important. If I am scaling one bunker to another bunker, one boulder to another boulder, that effectively means I have occupied this territory. That in turn means I am that much closer to the final objective. We keep on fighting. I am giving covering fire, somebody else is moving, they go plonk there, they give firing support, I move ahead. This was the fashion we were following. 6th afternoon, I get a radio message, communication from my commanding officer. He says, ki Naveen, ನೀವು 4ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, 4th lunch was the last meal you had, it's 6th afternoon, do you want to have something? But I knew if the food has to fetch, it has to fetch right from the bottom. But fighting for 48 hours, we had started expending our ammunition. So I convey back to my commanding officer, sir, ನೀವು ಊಟದ ಚಿಂತೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ, we are falling short of ammunition, why don't you send us some ammunition? So you'd be wondering, ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, 48 ಗಂಟೆ ಕಾಲ ಊಟ ಇಲ್ದಂಗೆ ಹೌ ಡಿಡ್ ವಿ ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಅಂತ. ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ ವೆನ್ ಐ ಸೇ ದಿಸ್, ಜುಲೈ ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಮ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಹಿಮ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಾಕ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಇಟ್, ಸಂಬಡಿ ಹಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಶಾಟ್, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಹಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್, ಶೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಫುಲ್ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕಿಶ್ ಆಗೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಸೊ ದ ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು, ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಮೇಲಿನ ಭಾಗ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆಗಿತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಏನು ಐಸ್ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೊಂತಿದ್ವಿ. ವಿ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಾರ್ಡೈಟ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀಪಿನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಆ ಐಸನ್ನು ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೋಬಾರ್ದು, ಗಂಟಲು ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ವಿ ನ್ಯೂ. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದಟ್ ಫೀಲ್, ವಿ ಏಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಹಸ್ ಗಾನ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಸ್ಟಮಕ್. ಆ ಒಂದು ಫೀಲ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಈಟ್ ದಟ್ ಐಸ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್. So to cut the story short, running short of time, I suppose, that is the time when I went and communicated that, just arms and ammunitions kadime agtide. That is the time Captain Vikram Batra along his team come and join us with arms and ammunitions. And Captain Vikram Batra bandidare andre, it was new wave of enthusiasm amongst us. We carried out with much rigor. 7th early morning ಗೆ straight ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. 7th early morning we were in a position in which there was only one Pakistani post left. Had we occupied that, .4875 would have been ours. I am sitting in a last but one bunker with an AK-47 in my hand. Right side, a big boulder is there. On the other side of the boulder is the Pakistani last post. Whenever I get an opportunity, I am firing towards the enemy and ducking down. Early morning on 7th of July, they lob a hand grenade into the bunker which I am sitting. ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೆನೇಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ಕೊತೀನಿ, ಪಿನ್ ತೆಗೆದು ಈ ಥರ ಎಸಿತಾರಲ್ಲ ಮೂವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೆನೇಡ್. ದೇ ಲಾಬ್ ದ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೆನೇಡ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೈ ಲೆಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚ್ ಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಬಂಕರ್. ದ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೆನೇಡ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಫೀಟ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೆನೇಡ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ, it has got a time lag of 4 seconds. ನೀವು ಪಿನ್ ತೆಗಿತೀರಾ, ಎಸೆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಾಬಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್, ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಸ್ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜೋರ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್ lag of 4 seconds. You remove the pin, lob the grenade, it goes and falls there. In 3 to 4 seconds it takes off, so that maximum impact is there. Killing radius ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Hypothetically, if the grenade lands here, takes off, anything in and around 5 to 10 meters will be blown apart, will be shredded into pieces. Such a live grenade falls in front of my feet. Now what options do I have? I can't get up and start running because I'm sitting here, the grenade has fallen there, the entrance of the bunker is towards that side. So that much time I had to consume. It is not possible. It's an L-shaped bunker. I'm sitting on one side, two of my men are sitting on the other side. It was easy for me to kick the grenades towards that side, but will my conscience permit? ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಒಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ ಆ ಗ್ರೆನೇಡನ್ನ ನನ್ನ ಜವಾನ್ ಸಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಒದಕ್ಕೆ. ಮೈ ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಟ್. ದ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ನ್ಯೂ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್ lag of 4 seconds, ಐ ಪಿಕ್ಡ್ ಅಪ್ ದ ಗ್ರೆನೇಡ್, ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಲಾಬ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೆನೇಡನ್ನ ಎಸಿತೀರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಸ್ವಿಂಗ್. ಆ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ತಾನೇ ಅದು ದೂರ ಹೋಗೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್, ಐ ಪಿಕ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಪ್, ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಲಾಬ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ರಾಂಗ್ ಎಂಡ್. ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಐ ಡಿಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಸ್ವಿಂಗ್, ಇಟ್ ಹಿಟ್ ದ ಬೋಲ್ಡರ್, rolled back and fell in front of my feet again. So probably out of those 4 seconds, I would have lost 2 odd seconds and just about 2 odd seconds to go. My dear students, I have seen death at a very close quarter. I still remember how the grenade came to a halt, how it fell, the kind of sound it made, everything I remember. You might feel 2 seconds is hardly any time, but let me tell you, when it's a matter of life and death, every fraction of a second, every moment counts. And in those fraction of a seconds, I'm thinking, the grenade is going to take off any time now, and Naveen Nagappa will be no more. The moment this message reaches to my family, my parents will be devastated. But at the same time, if I sit like this, the grenade takes off, what happens? My upper part of the body will be blown off. What will they send home Naveen as? Some muscle pieces scattered, some bone pieces scattered somewhere, put that in a gunny bag and sent home. Will my parents ever excuse me? Will they not want to see my face for the last time? That was the only prayer on my lips. I prayed to God, God, I know I'm not going to survive, but let my face be intact. With this prayer on the lips, I jumped to my right. The boulder and the bunker end, there was a small crevice, there was a small opening. My upper part of the body went behind that boulder, my legs got exposed, and the grenade takes off. For the next 15 seconds, I was not even aware whether I am dead, whether I am alive. 15 seconds later, within those 15 seconds, the bunker which I was sitting in had collapsed. There was dust all over, there was smell of cordite, there was smell of burnt flesh. And 15 seconds later, all I could make out was the enemy had started a counter attack. They had started moving towards us. They were wanting to occupy the post which I was sitting. And when I noticed, the first 15 seconds later, the first thing I noticed is one of our soldier, firing towards the enemy, came running towards the bunker which had collapsed, standing there in front of me. The first word he said, my full name is Naveen Anaberu Nagappa. Anaberu ka Anna Anna. My unit officers used to call me Anna. The first word he said, ki Anna tu darna nahi, main aa gaya hu. When I opened and see Captain Vikram Batra was standing there in front of me. And that is the time I realized that I am alive. And मैंने सोचा कि मतलब अभी तक नहीं मरा तो आगे भी नहीं मरेगा. I picked up my AK-47, started firing towards the enemy. My men knew Naveen सबको चोट लगी है. They also started firing. Somehow we managed to stall the counter attack. And then Captain Vikram Batra, since both my legs were injured, I couldn't have got up. I couldn't have ran. I couldn't have walked. So he drags me out of the bunker. Held my hand, drags me out of the bunker for good about 10-15 meters and tells me, तू नीचे जाके treatment ले ले, मैं आगे लड़ाई लड़ता हूँ. You would have seen this movie called Shirsha, in which this moment has been captured, wherein I get hurt. Captain Vikram Batra is trying to tell me, go and get yourself treated. I am telling, sir, मुझे नीचे मत भेजो, मुझे लड़ना है, I want to fight, I want to fight. I don't know why I said that, because I don't know what I could have contributed, but the very fact that my men were there fighting the battle, I didn't want to live it alive. I wanted to stay there till the tricolor was hoisted. After that, I had to crawl because that stretch was exposed. Captain Vikram Batra left for the attack. That stretch was exposed. Nobody could come and rescue me. I had to crawl for 150 meters. 150 meters I crawled, sat behind a boulder. When I turned back and saw, I could see my legs. Wherever I had dragged my legs, there were blood stains all over. I could see that. My literally right leg was dangling. It was ಜೋತಾಡೋದು ಅಂತಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರ ಹಿಡಿದು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಎಳೆದಿದ್ರೆ ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಜವಾನ್ ಹೆಗಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೊತ್ಕೊತಾನೆ. ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಒನ್ ಬೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಅನದರ್ ಬೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಡೌನ್. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅವ್ರು ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನದವ್ರು ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಫೈರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಐಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಹೋಗೋದು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಐಸ್ ಸಿಡಿತಾ ಇರೋದು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಲುಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ನನ್ನ ಕಾಲೆಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬಿದ್ದುಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್. So that, ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೊಲಿಯಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಣ. That was the state of mentality I was in. Not realizing what's practical, what's possible, what's not possible. I was not aware. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ದೂರ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. I was put on a stretcher later and then brought down. Imagine I got hurt early in the morning and by the time they brought me down it was late in the evening. ಸುಮಾರು ರಕ್ತ ಸೋರೋಗಿದೆ, ಸುಮಾರು ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. The moment they saw me, they said, Naveen, it's a miracle you have survived. And from there they put me on a sedative. And I go off to sleep without realizing what's happening on the battlefield. Next day early morning ನಿನಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಅಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಉದಂಪುರಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮಲಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಎಚ್ಚರಾದಾಗ ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. The helicopter takes off, start moving towards Udampur. We have flown for a good about 5-10 minutes we would have flown. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ ತಕ್ಷಣ my nursing assistant woke me up and said, "Sab, quote unquote, he said, "Sab, डॉक्टर ने उठने से मना किया हुआ है, बट वो देखिए 0.4875 पे तिरंगा लहरा रहा है." Then since I was lying down on a stretcher, I don't know where I mustered this courage from. I sat on the stretcher and saw that tricolor fluttering so high, and then I told myself, Naveen, whether you die, whether you live, it's of no consequence. The mission has been accomplished. The task which has been given to you has been fulfilled. So whenever, even if you die, whenever Kargil War will be spoken about, whenever 4875 will be spoken about, Captain Naveen Nagappa will also be remembered. With that, I saluted the national flag. And when I saluted the national flag, when I was about to lie down, the nursing assistant again said, "Saab, iske liye humne कीमत चुकाई है. We had to pay a heavy price for this." मैंने कहा, उस्ताद हमने क्या कीमत चुकाई है? He said, "साहब, Captain Vikram Batra नहीं रहे." So that was one thing wherein I could really couldn't take. I was in a semi-unconscious state, went unconscious, woke up in Udampur hospital. The infection could not be controlled there, so they sent me to Delhi hospital. 21 months I was in the hospital, 8 major surgeries, and finally, after 8 major surgeries and 21 months of hospitalization, I was medically discharged from the service. I was relieved from the defense forces, and when I was out of the defense forces, I was on crutches in my hand, and both my legs had braces. So people call me unfortunate. How unfortunate, Naveen, you are. You train for 1 year, serve for 6 months, and 21 months in hospitalization, and you had to limp for the rest of your life. But I don't consider myself unfortunate. I consider myself the most fortunate person, having born in this nation, donning the uniform, getting to do something for the nation. God couldn't have been more kind to me. God has always been kind to me. I have got whatever I asked for. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure speaking to you. What I would like to convey is 25 years have passed since the Kargil War has been fought, and you should remember 527, I repeat, 527 soldiers sacrificed their lives. 1,300 of them have got injured, for whom life has never been the same again. They all died young. We owe it to them. And tomorrow is the Independence Day. It is just not that, when you see the tricolor fluttering high, when you take your fingers to your temple and salute the national flag, it's just not the national flag you're saluting. It is, looking above, you will be saluting all those 527 soldiers. Not only 527 soldiers, all the Indian soldiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice. That's why it's called the ultimate sacrifice. I always consider myself a humble soldier. It's your magnanimity. It's the magnanimity of the organization Disha Bharat as well as MEN's Institute of Management. And you all, you have bared me for last 25-30 minutes, I suppose. It's a normal, humble soldier who his job is to fight the battle. That's what I have did. It's your magnanimity that you have given me this occasion to come and speak in front of you. My idea was just to narrate the pain, the agony of a soldier. It is not Captain Naveen Nagappa standing there narrating. This applause is not for those Captain Naveen Nagappa, but it's for those 527 soldiers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind. Can we have a minute's silence in honor of the soldiers who have sacrificed their lives for this nation as well as for the freedom of this nation? Thank you. I believe there's time for a couple of questions. If anybody wants to know something, I'm more than willing to answer the questions. If it is directed towards me or for the dignitaries sitting on the dais as well.
I want to tell you guys, I'm a very strong person. I have never cried for 3 years. This is the first time sir had made me cry. Seriously, I tell you, I have seen so many hardships you'll never believe. The last time I cried it was in 5th standard. From that day, I have never cried. But I don't know today why it was so emotional. Seeing a person like this standing next to him is a great honor for me. I just wanted to ask, being a mechanical engineer, it is very easy to lead a luxurious life, have fun, do whatever you want. That is what I dream about. That is what I want. What gave you the confidence to go there, see so much of hardship, seeing so many deaths? What was your confidence? How did you face your family? I mean, no one wants their child to go somewhere and, fight for someone and lose him or herself's life. What made you get that courage? What was in your hearts?
ಎವ್ರಿ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಭಗತ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಹಜ. ಅದು ಪ್ರಾಬಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಕೀನ್ ಟು ಸೆಂಡ್ ಮಿ ಟು ದ ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಜೋಲಿಂಗ್, ಕಾಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದೆಮ್. ಏನಂತ ಆರ್ಮಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡವ್ರೆಲ್ಲ ಯುದ್ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಆರ್ಮಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡವ್ರೆಲ್ಲ ಪೆಟ್ಟು ಬೀಳಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಫೇಟ್, ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನಿ ಅಂತಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ ಆಯಿತು. ನಾನು ಹೋದೆ, ಯುದ್ಧ ಶುರು ಆಯಿತು, ಪೆಟ್ಟು ಬಿತ್ತು. ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, why I wanted to join the defense forces was, I was at the crossroads. Parents ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ನಾನು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕಲಿ ಭಾಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆವ್ರೇಜ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿಲೋ ಆವ್ರೇಜ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಪೇರೆಂಟಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ GRE. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೊಫಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ 93% ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಗಾಟ್ ಎನ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ. MS ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಯಾವ್ದಾರು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ GRE ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಗಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಸಮ್ MS ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟೀಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ರೋಡ್ಸ್. ಐ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್, ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾನು ಆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮುಗಿಸಿದಾಗ ಐ ನ್ಯೂ ಐ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಬಿಗ್ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್, ಐ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಲಕ್ಸುರಿಯಸ್ ಕಾರ್, ಬಟ್ ಐ ನ್ಯೂ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅರ್ನ್ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 100 ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಡೇ. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಐ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಡಾನ್ ದ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್. When I say I was at the crossroads, I could have either gone to USA to do my higher studies, or I could have joined the defense forces. And the crossroads, I decided ki ನಾನು MS ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಹೋಗಿ ಆರ್ಮಿ ಸೇರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಲಿವ್ ದಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವೆರಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ವಿತ್ ಅ ವೆಪನ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಐ ಫೆಲ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂತ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲಿವ್ಡ್ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಡೈಡ್. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗಾಡ್ ಹಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಟು ಮೀ ದಟ್ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ. Pradeep, hope it answers your question partially at least. Anybody else? ಅರೆ ಇರಲಿ.
ಸರ್, ಇಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಯುವಜನತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಜಾಲತಾಣ ಎಂಬ ಒಂದು ಜಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ತ್ರಿವರ್ಣ ಧ್ವಜದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೌರವವೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ದಿನದ 24 ಗಂಟೆಗಳ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತ್ರಿವರ್ಣ ಧ್ವಜ ಬಲಿಯಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯುವಜನರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಕೊಡುವ ಸಂದೇಶ ಏನು?
Okay, I trust everybody has understood her question. Your name, please? ಭಾವನಾ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆಂದರೆ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಜಾಲತಾಣ, ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಅಡಿಕ್ಷನ್, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನೀವೇನು PUBG ಆಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, PUBG ಆಡ್ತಾರೆ, ರಿಯಲ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ರಿಯಲ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. Until you experience that, you will not get a flavor of life until you go there and battle it out outside. The idea, ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಲೈಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಂತಂದು. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವೈ ದಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್. It's the idea is not to have likes. The idea is to be respected. There is a lot of difference between that. When will you get respect? When you earn respect is you do something for yourself. You make yourself proud, your family proud, your nation proud. That is the time you are respected. Look for respect and not for likes. Likes are just numbers. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಮೇ ಬಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ಲಿ 1% of them will not land up to help you out. So as I told you, there is a battle which is happening. ಅವರು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಫ್ಲಾಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಯು, ನಾನು ಆ ಥರ ಪೆಟ್ಟು ತಿಂದು ನೋವು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲಲ್ಲಿದ್ದು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಆನ್ ಕ್ರಚಸ್. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಫಾರ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ವಾಕ್ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಫಿಸಿಯೋಥೆರಪಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಫಿಸಿಯೋಥೆರಪಿ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬರ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಡಿಂಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಅಪ್. ಐ ಪುಟ್ ಮೈಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ರೈಂಡ್. ಗಾಡ್ ಹಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಟು ಮೀ ಅಂತ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ ನಾನು. ಒಂದಿನ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಚ್ ತೆಗೆದು ಹಾಕಿದೆ, ಎರಡನೇ ಕ್ರಚ್ ತೆಗೆದೆ, ಒಂದು ಬ್ರೇಸ್ ತೆಗೆದೆ, ಎರಡನೇ ಶೂ ತೆಗೆದು ಹಾಕಿದೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಾಗಿ ಓಡಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇವತ್ತು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಷ್ಟ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಡೀತಿತ್ತು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನನಗೂ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಅಂತ. ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಹರ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ 7th July 1999 ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಹರ್ಟ್. ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಟನ್ ವಿಕ್ರಮ್ ಬತ್ರಾ ಅವರು ಅವರತ್ತೆ ತಿರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು. 20 ವರ್ಷದ ನಂತರ ಆನ್ 7th July 2019 ನಮ್ಮ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಟೀಮನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಆ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಮೇಲೆ 4875 ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಬತ್ರಾ ಟಾಪ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೆ 3 ಗಂಟೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ. 3 ಗಂಟೆ ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ at 16,000 feet, when I saw the tricolor fluttering so high, and when I knew I am also a small contributory factor to that, saluting that national flag at that altitude, I felt I have lived my life. There is nothing to look forward. So look for those moments in your life. I have lived that, I have experienced that. I want each one of you to experience that, wherein you for life, you should feel you have fulfilled your life, your dreams have been accomplished. ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ you'll have to strive hard, you'll have to struggle for it. I'm sure if you struggle for it, you'll achieve whatever you want. Hope it answers your question, Bhavana.
So after hearing the story which you have told, literally my thought process has changed completely. For me, my family was my priority. Now I think it's the time I have to say, our nation is our first priority for us now. So as students, we have not done much to our country till now. But seeing you as a role model here, today we can say a big salute to sir. Sir, Captain Vikram Batra's one line, "Ye dil mange more. Ye dil mange more." Thank you, sir, for getting us to this journey all over.
Thank you. There was no question, I suppose. It was just his feelings which he poured it out.
It's a message for youth. Last. You can tell the question and then answer.
Message for the youth. That's what I already conveyed my message, I suppose. But now ಕೊನೆದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. As I told, 527 soldiers sacrificed their lives just in Kargil war. Not a small number by any count. ನಾವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತಂದರೆ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ನೇಷನ್, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ದೇಶ ಮೊದಲು ಅಂತ, ನೇಷನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ. ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಆರ್ಮಿದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಡೋ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ, ಆನರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಅಂತ. ದ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ, ಆನರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೆನ್ ಯು ಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಈಸ್, ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದರೆ ದೇಶ ಮೊದಲು, ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜನ, ನಾನೇನು ಟೀಮನ್ನು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿರ್ತೀನಲ್ಲ ಅವರ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ನನ್ನದು. ಸೊ ಪುಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ನೇಷನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್. ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್: 527 soldiers sacrificed their lives. Do we really deserve those sacrifices? Are we really worthy of those sacrifices? Before doing any task, you ask yourself. The answer will not let you do any wrong things. The answer will always put nation first. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Naveen sir, your words brought tears in many eyes today. To listen to the first-hand account of a brave heart who has seen death from such close quarters is a surreal experience for real. All we can do in turn for all the sacrifices that these brave hearts do, and all the we as silent beneficiaries, the only thing that we can do is perhaps bowing our head with gratitude and reverence. Please accept our pranam, sir. Disha Bharat is grateful to have had your esteemed presence on the eve of 77th Independence Day. We hope to seek your inspiration in days to come as well. Our pranams to you, sir. Thank you so much. My dear friends, Disha Bharat has completed 6 days of its lecture series, evening lecture series, and tomorrow we will be very happy to share that we will be having with us Shri Chakravarti Sulibale, orator, columnist, and writer, to address the audience on the topic Vishwaguru Bharat, Harnessing Youth Power. I hope that you all will join in large numbers and take the message of Bharat so that we can all join hands and truly make Bharat the Vishwaguru with our individual contribution from our own side as well. Looking forward to see you all tomorrow evening, Independence Day. Do not forget, a warm welcome to you all.